4 stories up, 8 months on, and that car is still there. Here in Minamisaniku, more completely destroyed than any other town, they've thought the unthinkable. There will be no rebuilding. People will never live here again. It's not just the earthquake, the massive tsunami 60 feet high, the very coastline has shifted here. Come and see my front door. I'll show you, says the mayor, Sato. And that's the bathroom over there.
Yes, it's decided. Basically, our plan is to move the entire town to higher ground, because the ground level here has dropped by 70 centimetres. When we get higher tides, they come in, and this entire area is underwater.
Green seaweed now covers Market Street, once the town's main shopping area, and the Pacific creeps in at every tide. A wrecked port submerged, mankind's surrender to tectonic force. Last century was about concrete walls repulsing the Pacific. This century is about retreating. That suits me, says Natsuko Sato, searching through the ruins of her old house. No way am I living here anymore. You can't rebuild here, and she should know. The house was flooded out in the 1960 tsunami. Tourists now visit the town's disaster emergency centre, a shrine to the 20,000 people killed along this coast. Sato, the mayor, was here. He survived by clinging to the mast on the roof. 20 colleagues did not. Survivors mostly live in 56 prefab encampments up in the hills, like the former kimono embroiderer Kuniko Suzuki.
I was chatting to a neighbour in her car. They were saying there could be a tsunami, or maybe not.
Her cat, Hina, was missing for 20 days and then turned up, alive, well, but a little confused. There are islands of attempted normality, a petrol pump, a car wash, in a sea of destruction. The schools on high ground have reopened, but there are no jobs here. Young people up and leave. But go up the hill and the vice principal of Shizugawa High School says younger pupils remain optimistic their town will be rebuilt somewhere and have found new value in just being alive.
When they lose everything, they found that normal life is very, very important. So they will start again. They will begin again.
And even after 8 months, it's still not clear where they'll try to resite a town which is surrounded by mountains. And in this broken place, real anger, therefore, that, as they see it, Tokyo and central government still just can't grasp the problem.
Well, generally, I feel people think less and less about this disaster. When the government met to discuss reconstruction, they just lumped the tsunami and the nuclear disaster together as the same issue. That slowed everything down. The nuclear problem's ongoing, but the tsunami was a one-day event. They should have got on with it. It's just slowed everything down.
Don't take my word for it, he says. All officials will say that. 8 months ago, we filmed this pulverized town 48 hours after the tsunami. Today, you'll see this. Millions of yen spent, the rubble largely cleared. But that's about it. Surely this is an indication, 8 months on, of the scale of the task still facing what used to be a town here. On the one hand, a heap of rubble, 30 or 40 feet high, perhaps a quarter of a mile across. This is essentially the old town heaped up here. And that dwarfs in turn the giant steam train which used to stand as a monument in the centre of what used to be Minamisaniku. collected and heaped up. Now they have to clear it all away. And other towns are watching closely. Rikuzen Takata and Otsushi up the coast face the same issue. To rebuild or somehow try to move inland to the hills, which involves flattening mountainsides at enormous cost. A few yards away from here, Natsuko Sato has found what she came for, a treasured stone that used to be in the old garden, in the old house, in the old town. Alex Thomson, Channel 4 News, Minamisaniku.